Hi there, it's Larry here, Get to Know. So I'm continuing my look at my track Love Taught Me, which is out now on Boogie Angst. And I just wanted to show you a way that I use compression to unify the drum sound. I already talked about in a separate video how I blended electronic and real drums together to create the kind of rhythm section drum vibe of the track. And I use compression in a way to be able to gel these sounds together and make sure that even though they were coming from random sources, they had a unified kind of compression value which helps set them in a nice place in the mix. I just wanted to show you how I did that using compression. Okay, so diving into the mix, let's just loop a section of the track. And let's open up the mixer. Okay, so we have our kick here, the percussion, which I already talked about in the other video, and our live drums. And you'll see that what I've aimed to do here is to create compression on the same kind of lane in the Logic mixer. You can see they're all compressors. Pro C2, a wonderful compressor from FabFilter. The reason I do that is I like to be able to see and hear quickly if I'm compressing things in a way that I want to. And that means that I can quickly just bypass a whole lane of processing to hear what it's doing. And that's also useful for helping us demonstrate in this video what's going on. Okay, so let's take it out and then bring it back in again. Okay, so it's subtle. It's not a night and day difference, but what you're listening for is, to me, is kind of listenability of the track. By placing a kind of blanket compression setting on all the drums, it helps set them into a space, which means that, to me, it makes the track more listenable. To me, this is more confusing without the compression. Drums are more held in place than they are without the compression. Let's go to a different section of the track where there's more going on. Now, one thing you'll notice as well, if you really focus, is that the drums sit back slightly, a little bit further back than they do without the compression, and it almost feels like some of the other sounds, like the little marimba part and the lead sound, feel like they come out a little bit more. So just shut your eyes and focus on that. So with the compression out, it feels like the marimba and the drums are coming from the same place a bit more. With the compression in, it feels like the drums are slightly set back compared to the marimba. Okay, so how was this achieved? So if we have a look at the compressors here, so we have a unified setting for all the sounds. You see, so this is the rim shot sound, this is it's called a half beat, this is one of the overheads that I recorded with the live drummer. And you can see they have the same attack time and the same release time. Okay, so the attack time is 10 milliseconds. So for every single drum sound playing in the track, it's taking 10 milliseconds once the sound exceeds the threshold for the compression to kick in. So every single drum sound is being held in a similar way using that unified attack time. Now release time is 120 milliseconds. Okay, so if we go to this app here, Music Math, which is an extremely useful tool to use in your mixing, let's have a look at where we're at here. So 120 milliseconds at a tempo of 124 beats per minute is a 16th note. So what it means is when the sound goes below the threshold, it's taking a 16th note for it to go to no compression. So essentially we're getting a pumping vibe of the compressor, which is pumping in a 16th note time basically. So let's choose a sound to have a look at. Let's look at the rim shot. So this pumping and breathing movement of the compressor is taking place over the duration of a 16th note. Okay, that's what I've done there. And every single drum sound in the track, as far as I can remember, there may be a reason why I haven't done it on some of the drum sounds, but generally that will be the case. They're all pumping at that same kind of tempo of a 16th note. And it's a really good way of getting, as I said, a unified sound to your drums. Now what I've done in the whole track, in fact, is use different compression values for different types of sounds. So this is some effects here. What else have we got? We've got guitars here, which are using the CLA 3A plugin. So what I've tried to do is create pockets of compression for different elements of the track that are unified. So to me it creates like points of contact for the mix, if that makes sense. So if you have everything coming from different places in terms of front-back perspective, it can be quite difficult for the listener to interact with the music. It's too confusing, it's too many things for the brain to process. Whereas using compression to say, right, this is going to be more forward, and this is going to be more back, and this is going to be the furthest back, actually having a clear picture of what that looks like and what that's going to be means that the track ends up being an easier listen for people, essentially. And just to be clear, the way we set things forward and back is with the attack time first of all. So if we have a very fast attack, it means it takes away the transient, which makes it feel like it's coming from further away. If we have a slow attack, like so, then it will actually allow the transient to come through and will mean that the sound is allowed to be closer to us in the mix. And the release, having a longer release, makes things smoother, and it also helps set things back, whereas having a faster release will allow things to pump more and be more in your face and come forward. So it's just something to think about in your track, is using compression in a unified way. We can also add to this by adding compression to the master bus as well, and the individual buses, submixes, to again help to gel things together and really have a unified sound to the mix. So hopefully you found that tip useful and you like the sound of the track. Please go and stream the track and like it, all that stuff if you're into it. And also please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more tips and tricks from my studio here. And all that's left to say is thanks a lot for watching, and hopefully you found that useful. Cheers.